Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the round 2 back 9 coverage of the Reservoir Dawgs Open here at the infamous, famous, much maligned Old Trace Park. We return to hole 10, par 3, 301 feet. This is a pretty typical backhand hyzer, or just go straight at the basket. Pretty open fairway, but as you can see, there's a lot of trees lining it, so you're just going to miss all those, as Josh Coghill does. Sliding up very nicely, about 15-20 feet, pin high. Isaac taking his time. Throwing a nice soft hyzer. Unfortunately, as you can see, a little too far straight, and he does hit that tree and splashes down in some casual water. Thankfully, as I said, it is casual. Only OB is long of the basket over the fence, and to the right of the fairway there, you can see that broken down fence. Kyle throwing his beloved pig. Great line. Hyzer not just a little soon, otherwise we may see an ace, but right there next to Josh. Mason taking no time, running up, throwing this beautiful, beautiful line drive straight down the fairway.
It stopped it.
And he will be rewarded with a great shot for birdie. Isaac, well outside circle 1.
Get in.
A great run to this, just a little bit too high, but on a great line. Kyle, tapping in his birdie. Not sure why he was going and not Josh, but I'm sure we can call him on a late courtesy violation there. That's an extra stroke. Here we have Isaac for his par. Just a little bit too far outside, and as we see, he's still out, and he will have to putt in his bogey. It's never fun being this far away and you've got a bogey putt. Really taking his time with this. Thankfully he does save the bogey. Does not lose any more strokes. Josh for his, what we hope is a tap in. And of course, as we've come to expect, our current leader. Mason, of course, tapping in his birdie. Isaac, unfortunately, losing 2 strokes to the card. Here we have hole 11, par 3, 335 feet. Plays much shorter than that. It's probably about 15 feet downhill or so over a long course. So pretty typical backhand, left hand or right hand forehand hyzer. It's about 15 feet to the right of that big tree with all the poison ivy there, as you can see. So Josh in a great spot there. Kyle lining up the forehand as well. And this was kind of hard to see, but he did end up in a pretty good spot. A little bit past the basket by about 10 feet or so. Mason. This went a little bit wide, but it did fade back in. My camera work was not amazing, but it did end up in a very good spot. Isaac. Yep, and all 4 of our players here doing great forehand shots. As you see, Mason looks like edge of circle 1.
Go in.
Oh, you hate to see it. Great line, just bad height. Josh in a great spot, getting his birdie. See Isaac. Only about feet away, tapping in his birdie. All right, his birdie. So 3 birdies and a par. Hole 12, par 3, 375 feet, plays about that far, maybe a bit longer. But Josh showing you how it's done. Nice big backhand hyzer, but as he says, he juiced this just a little bit.
You said it's too hard?
I threw that way too hard. Yeah,
But that's the line you want to throw, just maybe a little bit less power, as he was saying. Fortunately, that road sign right there is right where you want to be throwing, so every so often if you're playing here, you'll occasionally hear a think, and then maybe a couple swear words.
Yeah.
Now this was a fantastic line. If you've got that kind of power, you want to do that every time. Of course, Kyle Gray here,
Yeah.
big fan of being on camera, likes to be on as much as he can. I believe this is what was his Halo Destroyer. I don't know all of their discs, but this one was pretty pretty. So unfortunately, he does hit that tree, and it does kick him a little bit short. Mason throwing a great line, but as you see, this will end up a little bit short and left of the pin. But he's got to look at it. Kyle Gray for birdie. Basket just up ahead, giving a nice little Anheuser step putt. At a tap in par, no harm, no foul. Mason, as I said before, he's very fast. He did not give me a lot of time to get the camera set up, so I just had to turn and hope for the best, and he's got a tap in as well. Josh with just an amazing shot. He thought he juiced it, but he was clearly wrong, rewarded with a nice birdie putt here. Isaac. Tap in birdie. That was a beautiful shot. It was so cool. The rest of our players tapping in their pars. Oh, I say that. I thought he was under the pin, but I'm sure he'll be making this as well. Yeah. No doubt about it. We are hole 13, par 3, 254 feet. Plays a little bit shorter than that because of a bit downhill. You can go straight at it, you can throw a forehand, you can throw a backhand hyzer. Josh throwing this great turnover shot, and he does get a slide up there right next to the basket, so he will be rewarded with a great birdie look. Isaac pulling this a little bit too far over there to the right. He will have a little bit of an obstructed look, but he will have a look nonetheless. Up next, I believe it's Kyle. I'm gonna guess he's throwing his pig. Yeah, there you see it. Oh, Ricky Pig. This thing must be really beat in, because you see how straight that held.
Yeah, nice shot.
Before getting pin high. Just a great shot. That's what you want to do every time if you can. Thanks, McKay. Ends up a little bit better spot than Isaac, but still a little bit short. And unfortunately, he does miss low and slides down into that ditch. He was very unhappy about that. So Isaac did slide up a little bit further than what I remember, and he does have this pretty open look at birdie, actually. As the surgeon that he is. And Josh follows up with another good birdie putt, and you can see Kyle under the basket. Absolutely parked. Mason tapping in his par. Kyle follows suit, but with a birdie. Up next, hole 14, par 3, 3,276 feet, according to the graphic. Good job on that one. See Josh throwing this great line. As you can see, the fairway, it's pretty much a straight shot to the basket as long as you make the gap, but lots of little trees there to play Minesweeper with. But aside from that, it's pretty fairly open. So whatever works for you, whatever shot you can get down there. Obi Road to the right there. But you can see none of our players really playing with it. Isaac throwing a great shot, sliding right up to the basket. Kyle just lacing this down, getting a little bit of turn out of it. I believe this did kick left, if I'm not mistaken. Mason taking no time, going, throwing a shot. And he does end up pin high. It's a nice looking birdie. Yep, as you see. Kick left. See another card in the background. Kyle giving a great run at this, but just fading out a bit early and coming up just a tiny bit short. Isaac for birdie. Good run, just a bit low left. Josh, a little bit past the basket as you see, but only maybe 10, 15 feet, somewhere in there. And gets rewarded with a great birdie. Mason for his birdie. Trying to get some strokes back. There we go. Don't call the comeback here forever. Isaac, his tap in birdie. Of course, Kyle. Unfortunately, par, so he does lose his stroke. But about hole 15, par 3, 320 feet. Probably one of the hardest holes. There is a wall of trees that you need to somehow get through. Forehand probably is the play. It's more open on the left side. And he does lace it through there, and he does have a great look at the basket for his birdie. Mason up here. Also throwing a pretty good shot. I believe this got caught up a little bit, so he may be a bit short. Isaac with the backhand. A little bit riskier of a route. There is a lot more trees to the right than there are to the left, but that walking path is OB, so... Oh, and he gets a kick off the tree and it ends up way further right. But it does end up actually being in a fairly open spot, so he has a good look at it up and down. Lining up the forehand. Flexing it out there. Just a beautiful shot. That's the shot shape you want for this hole. Maybe a little bit further and a little bit more to the right finish, but not bad. Isaac giving a run at it, almost throwing it in. Here we have Mason giving it a great run at it, just a bit high, right? Let's see if Josh can card the birdie from circle 2. Maybe even edge of circle 2, maybe circle 3. Just a fantastic run, just a little bit too far to the left. Isaac for par, just inside the circle. Boom, laser beam. Kyle for his tap in birdie. Mason for par. par is not bad on this hole when it's such a tight shot to get there. I didn't look at the stats, but I don't imagine that many people got the birdie. Hole 16, par 3, 320 feet. This is one of the hardest holes. You need to get through all these trees. Kyle gets a little bit of a backdoor route there. Got an up and down look at the basket. It's pretty, you can't really see it. The camera angle, unfortunately, was not amazing, but it's basically just past, I'll see if I can find a spot here to tell you where it is. Just to the right of that pine tree there, to the right.
That's fine though.
Yeah. Josh throwing this shot, getting a kick out to the open, so he actually has a look at it. If you can make it past all these trees to that little clearing, you've got a good look at the basket.
All right.
And Mason, this
Go
was
right.
amazing. If it got a little bit more right, this would have been an ace run.
That's how you play it. Good job, man.
I can't even tell you the shot to get through here. I've never managed to make it through here. Just throw and hope for the best. You see Isaac really trying to figure out the line he's going to throw here. And this was the line. This was maybe a foot high of being an ace run, and unfortunately it ends up in the OB parking lot that's right behind the basket, maybe 5 feet. Josh for his birdie look. Nice jump putt at it, giving it a great run. Thankfully the disc does sit down so he does not roll OB. Kyle with his little backdoor look, just laying it up, doesn't want to run the risk of that OB stroke. Isaac from I think just inside the circle, he did roll OB, or did throw OB. So this is for par, and he does cash it. For such a tough hole, par is not the worst result. There we go. Mason getting the nice birdie. Josh for par. Not giving me time to set up, so got a little bit of camera movement still in there. Thankfully no bogeys. Hole 17, par 3, 392 feet. This is a tough hole to get. You've got this hill to crest, and there's just a lot of trees right off the tee, but Mason throwing a great shot. A little bit far left of the basket, but he's got to look at birdie, maybe a 30-footer. There is a hill right behind the basket that rolls into the OB road. So if you go long, you do risk OB. Kyle, this is a great shot. A little bit far left, but it's maybe 15, 18 feet from the basket, so I would not call that anything but a birdie. But we'll see if he can convert. Josh just lacing this up the trees. Nice fade. It's up right next to Kyle and Mason. And we've got Isaac. Ends up very far left. Gets a huge flare skip. So, unfortunately, that birdie's pretty much out of play at this point. It's just so far away, you've got to throw it in, which he almost does. You see, he just rolls up right into the pin. Up next, Josh. This is a death putt because behind the basket there's a hill that rolls OB, so just a little bit short. That OB probably got into his head and he was just worried about it. See if Kyle can make the correction. right to the heart of the chains, and to the heart of the audience. Kyle Gray. Mason for his birdie. Throwing it long, and it does go down the hill, but it does not roll OB. No. Josh, I almost called him Kyle. Josh tapping in his par. Mason has this comebacker for par. Unfortunately, sliding on the basket. He's not able to save the par. But he does finish with bogey. It's hard to lose a stroke here, especially when you know hole 18, par 3, 300 foot is right here. You know that everybody's going to be getting the birdie on this hole. Kyle showing you how it's done, throwing it right up the middle, nice fade, 10 feet. For all intents and purposes, a tap-in birdie. Josh to follow suit. And he does end up a little bit left of the pin. It's kind of a scary putt because from the left side, you've got a big hill right behind the basket that rolls down to the OB road. So ideally you'll be on the right side of the basket. Or you'll just have a tap in like Isaac. Great way to finish the round with Mason. Slides right up to the basket. Just a beautiful shot. All four great shots. See if Josh can convert. And of course he does. Finishing strong with the birdie. Birdie. Mason can get that bogey out of his mind. And he does. Let's see if we can get a star frame with Isaac. Who are we all kidding? This is a tap in for Isaac. As we see, we got our own star frame. And that will conclude the back nine of round 2 of the Reservoir Dawgs Open. Unfortunately, I can't read the picture. I made it way too small, so I hope you can see the scores. I believe Josh ended up being 10 under. I think Kyle was 7 under. I honestly can't remember the other scores, and I made the picture too small, so I hope you can all see that. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time.